Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love, and welcome back to the Soul Speaks podcast, where we are letting the soul speak its mind. No more holding back, no more holding in. My aunt would not like that. So, I'm excited because this is it's always very personal for me, but this is a topic that I really been seeing a lot. So I'm not sure if it's a lot of babies that's about to pop into this world, or it is just a lot of divine goddesses speaking about how, the truths about pregnancy, the truths about being a mom is definitely not all about matching outfits and Instagram pictures. It's real deal. And when you're talking about breaking and burying generational curses and healing yourself and teaching yourself self-love and self-compassion and just removing a lot of the shame and guilt and resentment that we dealt with in our childhoods, and we're making sure and we're actively taking those divine steps to not enforce certain things on our children. This is definitely a topic that's important. So today we're going to talk about mommy guilt. We're going to talk about mom guilt. And I'm going to share my experience. And I did some research. So I'm definitely going to talk about, what it is. And it is a real thing. People who are not moms, men or women who are not moms may think that, mom guilt isn't anything, but mom guilt is as serious as postpartum depression. It's definitely serious, and we need more education in this area, but also we need more compassion in this area, because as a woman, as a mother myself, and still dealing with this right now currently, I don't think it's ever something that it goes away. I feel like you just know how to manage it more, you know how to balance it more with the things that you do in your life, and just knowing that it is a journey. So I was journaling about it because it's been coming up for me a lot lately, just in my personal life, but then also, your timelines and your Instagram feeds, your news feeds and stuff like that, they are a reflection of sometimes what you need to deal with in your personal life, but then also what you should be thinking about. And if your feeds are filled with negative things, then you need to upgrade. But anyway, so I was journaling about my experience with mommy guilt, and just even women that I've been friends with before, and just their experience. So I don't think these are in Google or anything like that. This is just what I had came up with, what I've seen. There is the abandonment guilt, and then there's the nurturing guilt. So the abandonment guilt stems from the codependency or even abandonment issues that you had growing up. So you're in my case, my mom wasn't really she was a working girl, she liked to work and she liked to travel, and she had her mom to watch us, which is my grandma, so my granny. So for me growing up, I was oh well, I want to be in the house, I always wanted to be homeschooled. So I'm hey, when I get older and I have my babies, I'm gonna be homeschooling. I'm going to be working from home, but, I'll be able to work outside the home, but also homeschool my baby, be home, be cute, whatever. So that was my dream. And, but that guilt can, you could become a helicopter parent, where it's nope, I need to be there all the time. Nope, I don't, not everybody can watch my child, and that's fine. But that also stems from some trauma that you've had. So it's oh no, I know what happens when you go to the cousin's house, kissing cousins energy, and that's not good, and that's traumatizing, low key, and not even low key, high key. So there's that. There is the abandonment guilt where it's like, oh, well, I don't want my baby to feel like I didn't love them. And, they're sponges, but, once they get a certain age of being a toddler, like 3 or 4, they remember certain things. So it's like, they're going to remember those things, and that is the staple and the foundation for how they grow up. So if they remember something at 3 or 4 that was slightly traumatizing and they say, well, you weren't there, mommy, then it causes things. And then the other one that when I was writing, I was like, okay, the nurturing guilt. So the nurturing word is actually in quotes, because the working mom, right? So let's just say she has a very nice career and, she did her maternity leave or whatever, or she couldn't do her maternity leave. And she probably feels the guilt because it's like, oh, well, I'm not there with my baby and I don't know, what their habits are, or I didn't see their first walk, or I didn't see when the tooth first came in, or they get pressure from their peers about, oh, you work so hard, you're not even there with your baby. Can you call yourself a real mom? And things like that. So there is a lot of like, just, and that could be stemmed from childhood too, where the mom was a stay-at-home mom and they were like, oh no, well, I see that mom worked so hard and, she maybe was miserable and blah, blah, blah. So I want to be a working mom. I can have my babies and I can work too and blah, blah, blah. And there's nothing wrong with both of them. You could be a stay-at-home mom and not have a job, and that is your full-time job, and we do commend you for that. And then we also have the working moms that have a great career, or they just like working outside of the house and providing, and so that their baby can have certain things. Nothing is wrong with both of those things, but I just want to point out that there is mommy guilt in both. It's not just in the stay-at-home mom, and it's not just, we hear it from both sides, okay? We definitely hear it from both sides. And so I do want to go into the research that I did because I did find it interesting. So I had looked up mommy guilt, and I really like this website, Mindful Return. And so it says, how does guilt show up? Researcher and therapist Brown writes that the feeling of guilt is a focus on behavior where shame becomes about feelings of the self. So I didn't breastfeed long enough is feeling guilty about a behavior, and the resulting I'm a bad mom becomes the feeling of shame about oneself. The guilt and shame pushes a mom into deep judgment of self, a constant comparing to others where the mom believes she consistently falls short. Also, I'm picking up imposter syndrome vibes here, and persistent negative thoughts about self. Moms hide these thoughts but often begin to believe they are true. Mothers then become their own worst critic. The guilt and resulting feelings of shame drive feelings, thoughts, and behaviors that can show up in some of the following ways. Depression and anxiety. Moms start to feel down most of the time, have fatigue, anger, or intense obtrusive worry or low self-worth, and among other symptoms, self-confidence, low libido, things like that. Negative thoughts. I should not go back to work because I'm abandoning my baby. I am a bad mother. The thoughts become beliefs and the self-worth decreases. Massive amounts of time and energy is focused on social media. A mom may feel guilty about the time not spent with her baby and may post only the best moments constantly on social media to prove to the world that she is, in fact, a good mom. Overdoing, overworking, and overscheduling. Here, we're grappling with the mom's belief that if a mom does more and ignores the guilt, the better she will feel. But this behavior can lead to burnout and becoming physically unwell. Addictive behaviors. A mom may begin drinking, using drugs, overspending, and finding other ways to find a quick fix to feel better. And perfectionism. A mom may hope to avoid her feelings by trying to come across as though she has it all together. She may want to appear perfect, even though she fears judgment, failure, and is in pain. And so when I did that research, I was like, nah, don't be reading me just off a little, don't read me like that, okay? But I also feel like there's periods of these things. And so I always, when I think about this, I just think about God, because I'm like, God, you really gave me what I desired, like what I asked for, what I manifested. I manifested to be a stay-at-home mom and to homeschool. Now, how long are you going to homeschool? How long are you going to be a stay-at-home mom? Because don't you have dreams? So I had to make sure that I was specific, because God gave me what I wanted, but also I love my own money. I love not really having to ask people for money. So what are you going to do? You know what I mean? And we're talking about morals and values and integrity here. So what are you going to do? And I do have dreams. And I just came across one of my old notebooks, like when my son was first born in 2018. Well, actually 2019. But when I was pregnant, I was just writing certain things that I desired to do. And it amazed me that I kept the notebook, first of all, because it still had paper in it. So I didn't want to waste the notebook, But that I still had the notes of like what I desired to do. Like I wanted to talk about mother stuff, like, stuff like this, and like breastfeeding and postpartum and things like that. I also wanted to go to massage school and become a licensed massage therapist. Did that. And that's all while being in school, being in school, child, being at home. Created my podcast. I wanted to do that. That note said 2018. I wrote down I wanted a podcast. The podcast didn't come into 2022, but did I have experience to be talking about anything? No. Now I do. I have 4 years of experience of just life in general and how God has brought me through. You know what I mean? And safely, soundly, I'm here, mind, body, and soul. And it's amazing, like, to be able to speak your truth, speak divinely, allow God to speak through you, and allow God to show you certain things. So I would like to say it is all about the mind. And yes, in the beginning, it's tough because, the breastfeeding thing, and then there's judgment on that. But really, it's all about what you desire to do. So, mom, please don't feel guilty about anything. Like, you did one of the bravest things ever, which is to make a life, bring it here healthy, period. And you did so. The baby's healthy and you are also healthy. So let's start with that. And you need to congratulate yourself. Then when you decide that there are certain negative thoughts in your mind that are overpowering, you need to really take a step back and say, what do I desire? What do I want to do? What can I do now while I am focusing majority of my time on my baby and their development? What can I do in that process? Because best believe I was looking up massage schools. Best believe I was looking up nail tech schools. I was looking up esthetician schools. I was looking up to finish my degree. I was looking up a lot of things just because I have time. The baby's sleeping. While I take a nap, I wake up and I'm just writing notes right now. I'm just writing notes. What do I want to do? If you have things that you want to do, figure out how you can do it from home for a while. And if not, because not everybody has a village. I know I didn't. And with certain traumas that I've been through, and also like just certain realizations, it kept me in hermit mode, let's just say, to honestly figure out what I wanted to do. Because now that my son is 3 years old, I'm teaching him so much. Like, it really just starts with the mind. Like, you wouldn't even believe. As soon as I said, okay, I really want to homeschool him, he's only a few months. And I'm like, okay, using notebook paper, putting the ABCs up before he can crawl. So by the time he crawls and he's standing up on the wall, he's looking at the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s. I mean, it literally starts in the mind, just one idea. Get off your own back a little bit. Because we really put so much pressure on ourselves, and then we hear a whole bunch of our peers talking, haters talking, strangers talking, and focusing on social media. If anything, just look at social media for ideas. Do not look for an aesthetic. Because you're going to be your own mom doing your own things, and there's a lot of things that in the aesthetic that they edit out. So please don't worry about that. Please don't worry about that. The matching outfits are cute. If that's what you desire to do, go ahead. But But let's keep it real. Your baby probably won't have clothes on in the house for the majority of their life. Let's just they maybe. But don't expect all that. I'm just saying, don't have super high expectations. You can have goals. You can have dreams and desires. But please don't put yourself where it's literally perfectionism, like I mentioned before. You don't want extreme perfectionism. That's not even healthy. So the reason why we have children now is to provide a healthy relationship, mind, body, and soul with these children, and to be able to teach them something worthwhile. They actually have standards, morals, values. They can actually do something in life. Whether it's trade, school, or neither. They will be people with souls, good hearts, and empathy for one another, love for one another. You know? So please take the guilt off, because we have so many years. It's not, I can't stand when people say, oh, you got 18 years of, no, you don't. We're going to be the generation that makes sure it's not just, 18 and then you're done with them and all that. No, we're never done with our children. And that's what people need to understand. Because if they were going by, at 18, you're done and we're done dealing with you and helping you and blah, blah, blah. You're on your own, you're 18, you're an adult when you're 18. Half of us were adults before 18, before 10. Okay? So we're not going to be passing down those same generational curses at all. We're not passing down anything but divine inheritances. Wisdom, knowledge, morals, values, integrity, financial security, financial literacy. So, mommy, please, and if there's any dads watching, please, you don't need to feel guilty about anything right now, because this is literally a journey. This is a journey. There's going to be ups and downs. You're going to be proud one moment, not proud of yourself the next. Trying to figure out what's going on. Please do not feel guilty about anything right now. Just make sure that you are healthy. Make sure you can eat. Make sure you're drinking water. And make sure that they are fed and, somewhat satisfied. Because these children are never completely satisfied. That's all. That's all. I got an almost 4-year-old going on 14. And it's ridiculous. But I love him. That is my prince. And so, but he has matured me a lot. And I was already ready for my child. I was ready for him. Mind, body, and soul. But the journey now, it changes every year. So, get off your own back. Don't let anybody guilt trip you, make you feel bad, gaslight you, and manipulate you into doing things you don't want to do regarding your own parenting. I still don't have people watch my child. Okay? Do what you feel best as as the parent of that child. You know what's best. You can accept help, but follow your intuition on that. So, to help with the mommy guilt, like honestly, mommy parent guilt, that's what I'll call it. But to help, just accept where you are right now. Accept where you are currently in this moment and just breathe. And make sure you talk to God about it, because God wants you to see something that's happening right now in the present. Like, I remember getting so upset about, not having money, because I was a working girl. I made money. I was full-time. I was working real good up until, when I did my maternity leave. And I set myself up real nice, had real nice savings and all that. Lasted for a long time. And, COVID changed a lot, because I was working in the restaurant industry. And so for my job, it changed drastically. And I just was like, well, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do? And I started feeling bad, and I don't have any money, and I can't get him clothes, and I can't get him more books, and and it was just all I can't, restriction. First thing you need to do is accept where you are right now. I am learning to accept the things I cannot change. Right now, you are a new parent. You cannot change that. Or right now you are at home and unemployment isn't on working right now or whatever. Accept where you are right now so that you can find solutions, because that's what's important. Stop trying to fight the funk and I don't want to be here. Accept where you are right now. It is easier and it's only temporary. Schedules change, the mind changes. So relax and allow God to try to guide you, like I said, because he's trying to show you something. Me being at home, I'm like, oh yeah, so now's the time for me to homeschool, right? Like I literally was like, okay, I can start making sure that his room is, decked out with all the stuff he needs just for the fundamentals. And then we could start finding some shows that you like. And then we could start working on, you holding a pencil. And, like it takes steps. It really does take steps. And just keep your mind open for the divine possibilities in, because you're going to miss the beauty if you're so focused on trying to get to the future. It's literally the journey. Then I keep saying this, it's all about the mind. So change your mindset. Say, I am a great parent. I am a great mom. I am a great dad. Then you start with, I am doing the best that I can right now. And if you have to say this every day, write it on your mirror. Make sure that you write it every day. Do that. You have to change your mindset by setting those habits. What they said, it takes 28 days to form a habit? So do that. I challenge you to do that. Write that you're a great parent and you're doing the best that you can and God is your supply. Write those 3 sentences down every day and make it a focus so that you don't feel bad every day. Every day when God wakes you up, he is making sure you do the desires of his heart. So make sure that you know that when you go to bed every night that you did what God wanted you to do. So you don't have to feel bad about anything. Plans change, the mind changes, schedules change. So don't feel so bad about what changes, because life is always changing. But you have to change your mindset in order to place yourself where you want to be. Use a lot of positive affirmations. I am a divine parent. God and the universe is guiding me within this wonderful journey. God is supplying my every need when it comes to my child and my family. Things like that. And create your own. I am healthy, mind, body, and soul. I am a suitable parent, mind, body, and soul. My child is happy, mind, body, and soul. Things like that. Me and my baby are protected. Things like that. Just even if you don't see it that way right now, it's going to change. And also, if you don't see it right now, you have to put it in your mind so that you can see it. Because even if you're in a not so great neighborhood, has anything happened in your complex? Has anything happened to your family? Has anything happened to your baby? No. And that's something you need to thank God for and be grateful for. Okay? Change your habits. I noticed this because when I had postpartum depression, it was really bad. And when you're a stay-at-home mom, it gets to a point where you don't want to brush your teeth. What are you brushing your teeth for? If you're really not in a great space, what are you brushing your teeth for? There was days I didn't eat. Or I made sure I did eat because I was breastfeeding. And that's tough. If you don't feel like eating, but you have to make sure there's nutrients in your body to feed your baby, because they're going to get the nutrients, whether you replenish yourself or not. The breast milk is going to take from you. So you need to replenish yourself. Make sure you brush your teeth. Make sure you wash your face. If you need to put clothes on just to feel better, to feel like you're doing something. I know it was rough. I would sit there and not brush my teeth because I'm depressed. What am I brushing my teeth for? I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything. And I don't have a job. I'm at this and that and this and that. I'm a horrible mom. No. Don't let your mind just keep replaying bullshit to you. That is not true. You are just relaxing right now, in hermit mode right now, taking up stock on what you want to do in the next 5 years, 10 years. This is that time to sit down and just make your vision board. And not really vision board, because I remember I didn't even have a vision board. I just wrote it on notebook paper and called it a vision board. But what did I want to do in the next 5 years? Boom. And took my time with it. And I didn't even know. Once you write it, it's set. Like, because it's really what your heart desires. So make sure that you are being very specific on what your heart desires, because God will make that happen for you. The universe will make that happen for you. Your ancestors, spirit guides, and angels who love you and they are rooting for you will make that happen for you. But you have to take those divine steps and use your imagination. We keep talking about the mind. All starts in the mind. So it's all about how you picture your reality and paint your reality. Yes, it took me some time to realize that I am not a horrible mom, because I am doing exactly what my mother didn't do. And we're not throwing shade. We're just being real. I said I wish I saw my mother more, because I was at my grandmother's house and I wanted to be homeschooled because I was bullied at school, and school just was never, like, I tried to be good in school and it was good, you know, for certain things, but not good for everything. And so now I'm going to homeschool my child, probably not all the way, but we'll see how it goes. But right now I feel accomplished just teaching my child, and he's actually talking about his ABCs and putting sentences together and writing, and knows his colors, and he's counting, and I taught him that. So, you know, this is the beauty of it. This is the beauty of it. This is the beauty of parenting. And a lot of people try to tell you it's rough, and some people do say it's a beautiful journey, and they're kind of sarcastic, but no, it is beautiful when you make it beautiful. What do you want to do? What do you want to do with this time with your child? And also, just what do you want to create? What do you want to put out in the universe and allow it to naturally create itself for you? I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. What are you going to do with the creative aspect of your mind? Like I told you, I was using notebook paper, writing ABC through Z on the paper. He wasn't even crawling yet, but eventually he remembered. He remembered. Because he's quick with his, I'm just saying, and he loves school now. So it's like, you love school now. What happens when we throw you in kindergarten or first grade? You're going to probably love it. It's going to be different, but it's going to be, you know what I mean? And in the meantime, schedules change. So as you're doing what you're supposed to do as a parent, loving, nurturing, you know, teaching the right things, your gift is going to come in. My manifestations have came in because I worked hard on building my family up and really breaking those curses and being gentle. You know, not yelling at your child for not understanding homework. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Getting called all type of names and stupid and stuff from your parent is not what you expect when you're trying to get help with homework. And then homeschooling is another thing on top of that. So guys, just keep in mind that this is your journey and you can paint this picture how you want. And it's time to bring out the good colors. It's time to bring out the good colors. You know what I mean? Are you going to paint a beautiful picture with your words, or are you going to predict the storm cloud over your head every day? I want you to think about that and ask yourself these questions, because, you know, I may be coming off strong and it may seem like, oh, but that's easier said than done and blah, blah, blah. But no, honestly, when you read those pregnancy blogs and magazines and they're like, oh, you know, postpartum depression and mommy guilt, you don't think mommy guilt is real until you get there and you're like, oh man, well, you know, like right now, I just had to come in here and sneak and eat a cupcake because I didn't want my son to see it, because I might feel bad that he get one, or I have to say no to him, and then he's like, you know. No, I wanted that daggone cupcake, and I wanted to eat it without any distractions. So I came in here, locked the door, and ate my cupcake, and I enjoyed it, and I'm gonna get another one. Okay. Please do not feel bad. Okay, do not feel bad about anything when it comes to this parenting journey. We are doing our best, and God knows that. That's why God gave us the opportunity to do this. We are breaking generational curses. We are burying generational curses. We are healing generational curses, and we are setting our own generational trends and, you know, our own traditions of filled with love and happiness and compassion and also integrity. So we don't need to put extra pressure on ourselves, because this world does enough. We're already diamonds. Okay. So, oh, let me pull out some my crystal cards. It's just energy pretty much to embody. I don't have these real crystals, but it's just energy that you can embody. Let's see. Let's pull a couple. Ooh. Let's just pull two. So we have the Phosphosiderite. I'll put it down in the description. Wow, this is a long name. Phosphosiderite and Sodalite. So I'll read Sodalite first. Sodalite energy brings calmness in the mind, truth, intuition, self-esteem, and self-acceptance. And then the long one, Phosphorite, that's probably so wrong, is for the higher chakras and relieves anxiety. So whatever you can do to relieve your anxiety, that goes with the, changing your habits and your mindset. That's really important. Like, just take deep breaths with this stuff, man, because it's rough. And I only have an almost 4-year-old. But I know that it gets easier once you put that in your mind. You know what I mean? We've witnessed so much as children and even as adults, seeing our peers with children and just seeing how there's certain things we just will not tolerate when it comes to our family. And so just keep those beautiful things in mind while those negative thoughts are chipping at you saying you're a bad parent, because you're not. And if anything, you're a elevated parent, you're an upgraded parent, because you have the awareness about what you need to do for yourself and also your child or your family to better your lives, better your mind, better your soul, So I love you guys. Like, keep the faith and just talk to God about it, because as many times as I cried about my son and just like, oh, I don't want to, be like my mom, and not throwing shade, but I really just want to be different and be better and be my version of a mom that I dreamed when I was 8, 10, 15. Because it's here now. Like, we're, it's here and we're parents and it's real. So I love y'all. Stay hydrated and remember, no guilt, no shame, no shade. We're doing better and we need to take it day by day, okay? So love y'all. Thank y'all for listening.